Hello everyone, Storm 101 here. Today we'll be having an update on the tropics again. Hurricane Hanna has actually made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane just south of actually, Corpus, something else. Sorry, I forgot about that name, but it's just south from there. It's like Purdy Island or something is where it made landfall. There in Severn, Texas, we got a tropical wave to really keep an eye on. And it's this one right here. It's got a pretty high chance for developing over the next 5 days. In the next 48 hours, there's a 50% expect these percentages increase especially to 48 hours. I will not be surprised if this gets upgraded again, and this could become a tropical depression in the next 48 hours. And we have the remains of Gonzalo, which is 35-mile-per-hour wind. So we're at this point here. It's a strong tropical depression at this time here. So there's no threat from Gonzalo anymore, so we don't have to worry about that system. Hannah's making landfall. It's going to create damaged winds, a lot of storm surge, and also as well as a lot of rain. Let's actually take a look into Hannah very quickly. You can see where it made landfall on that map. It made landfall right here, and it's going to die down pretty significantly. And it'll die out in Mexico. You can see you got your hurricane warnings going on there, and you got your tropical storm warnings there as well. Let's take a look into some other graphics here. U.S. rainfall potential. The amount of rain is actually increased to 10 to 15 inches of rain, which is a lot. There's also a high risk for flooding uh, today and then a moderate risk tomorrow. You can see here the high risk there for flash flooding. Keep in mind, not for severe weather, but for flash flooding. There is a slight risk for severe weather, mainly for tornadoes that could develop. You can see here the slight risk right there, and we actually got quite a few tornado reports, a decent amount. There's actually one in Minnesota earlier today. But yeah, and this is the peak surge here, forecasted 4 to 6 feet by Port Arnases. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And then Sargent is pretty much between around 2 feet, High Island 1 to 2 feet. And then between Port Mansfield and Mount of the Rio Grande is 1 to 4 feet. Baffin Bay 2 to 4 feet as well. And Corpus Christi Bay is also 4 to 6 feet as well for storm surge. So there's going to be a lot of storm surge ongoing right now for some of those areas. And this is the arrival times here. It'll be at the border pretty much 8 o'clock Saturday 8. So what it says? Yeah, Saturday at 8. It's 9 o'clock, so it's gone much slower. I have to say, it's gone slower. So it'll get to the border tomorrow morning. Keep in mind that. And that's Hanna right there. So we're going to keep on going back here. We're actually going to turn into the Pacific here, the Central Pacific. We got Hurricane Douglas here. We actually have hurricane watches, I believe, or warnings. Yeah, hurricane watches. There's actually a hurricane warning for one island where that could be the direct hit. Yeah, that's your hurricane warning right there for that island right there. You got hurricane watches in here. You got tropical storm watch here. We're more likely we'll see that get upgraded to a tropical storm warning and maybe a hurricane watch as well. Would not be surprised by that, but as you can see here, it gets into uh, the middle islands of Hawaii as a pretty much a hurricane, and then as it kind of gets closer to the far northwest island there. I don't really know the names of these islands here, so I do apologize for that. But you can see here it will become a strong tropical storm um, on that system there, and it's dying down. Same thing for Hanna as well. And you can tell Hanna is really. It was pretty organized earlier. I mean, if you look on radar, it looks pretty impressive. It's got a pretty nice eye to it. So yeah, and there's your tracks from the hurricane models, and expect this to move north back into Texas here, and could bring a decent amount of rain later in time. Here's tropical depression Gonzalo. The majority of the models are going to bring it down to a tropical depression. So pretty much it's going to die out. You see a couple of models actually bring it back up. You can see where most of them are get. You can see where they're taking this here. It actually may go into the Eastern Pacific. We'll see about that. So it might able to survive, but we have some doubts on that. And there's Douglas right there. The eye is pretty much slowly going away. You can see here it's a strong Category 1 hurricane, and it models indicate it may pick back up some steam, but overall it's going to die down, really. And let's go back to the Atlantic, and the biggest story uh, after Hanna is going to be over with is this disturbance right here. And this is Invest 92L with this system here. We're going to go over the uh, see how dry the air could be, see how much moisture there could be, and we'll take a look to wind shear as well with this here, and we'll also take a look to the, some other models as well. So let's take a look at Invest 92L. You can see you can actually see where it's circulating right in here. Got a lot of convection going on, so it's pretty much a broad area of low pressure. Let's take a look into where this thing here could be going here. It seems like most of the balls are going to be taking it either directly towards at least the northern portion of the islands, like Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic as well, for some of those areas, which is not good because of major hurricanes they had in the past. So this is not good news for the islands for right now. Uh, More likely could hit those areas there as a hurricane. You can see here by the intensity islands here, we actually got a pretty large spread here, anywhere from a low-end tropical storm to a strong Category 2, nearing Category major hurricane status. So really, we got a big spread of models on the intensity of the system here, which is not good for forecasting because that really just brings the confidence. It's going to make forecasting tougher with the system here. Gonzalo was pretty tough to forecast there. This is the GFS ensembles here. Now, this is averaged out in with the spread and the models. You can see some of them actually keep it out to sea, some of them take it to Florida, even a couple of them take it, kind of like towards Cuba as well. So you can see here where it takes it to. Takes it into the southeastern United States, but we don't really know that yet. This here can likely change, but we're going to have to watch the system here very closely here because if it goes north of the islands, which looks like it could do that, it could do that. I mean, some also predict it can go to Caribbean, which it can happen the same thing like happened to Gonzalo, which is, well, it was a little bit different story. It was more of dry air. That's what's going on with Gonzalo. And it's still picking up dry air. So, yeah, we really need to watch the system here very closely. I mean, the water's just very warm, so no doubt about it. There's not really much of a problem. Ocean heat content is really good for hurricanes, so not really good. But let's take a look, see what's going on in the atmosphere. See total principal water here. So your brown colors is going to be your dry air, and then your green and blue colors is your uh, moisture. You can see here it does hit some dry air. You can tell there. You can see how it really strengthens as well. I mean, 976 millibar low. That's pretty much. I'm gonna guess that's like a maybe a Category 2 hurricane there, possibly. Let's take a look to wind shear with this here. it actually does hit some wind shear, so we need to be careful with this system here. You can see, look how much wind shear there is this system can run into. And what that can do here is kind of really put the pause on the intensification like the GFS shows. So you can see here, it gets as low as 973, and it just kind of sits there, and it just slowly dies down. But it could happen to like Gonzalo. I mean, hitting dry air and wind shear, it can kill a system just like what happened to Gonzalo. So this is going to be tough to forecast here again, but really early on, it's going to be favorable development um, till it gets to the northern portions of the islands here. Really, when it reaches to the islands, that's when the atmosphere is just not that favorable for hurricanes. But before it, before it gets to it, it's pretty favorable. So this system here can intensify very quickly if it could get organized, which is right now a broad low pressure. So let's move into the western Atlantic here. There's Hanna right there. See how it dies down very quickly as it kind of gets to the Mexico mountain range. It's going to take some time to load. Here comes um, our next system here, which this is going to be an I system, which it's pretty much the hardest word to pronounce on the Hurricane Season 2020 name list. I forgot how to pronounce it. I've seen some people try it. It's pretty hard to pronounce it. It's going to be an I named storm here, so more than likely at this point. But you can see there, hit some dry air right in here. You got some dry air going on. More than likely some Saharan dust going on there. You can see how it kind of hits there, but then, you know, there's a little bit of a slot of less drier air. There's a little bit more moisture. And then, now this could likely change. Keep in mind of this here. So this is not a forecast by any means here. Just to put that out there. Just to put that out there. You can see where the GFS takes this here. It actually takes it into the Carolinas right there. You can see 962 millibar low. Really around this point here, there's actually the Bermuda High is going to be nearby. So if it gets stronger, it may take it in more inland. But we also got a trough that could be going on around the Ohio Valley region at the same time. You can see where it takes it to landfall over North Carolina, Virginia. It takes it back out. But again, like I said, more than likely going to change because models have been kind of going back and forth of where it can make landfall at this point here. But first, it has to go through this. So there's a lot of uncertainties uh, of where it can hit the United States for now because it has to go through wind shear and some dry air. And we do not know if it's going to survive through it or not. It could die out completely. Who knows? Or it can make it through. If it makes it through, it can intensify again. But more than likely, the forecast will change here. But let's take a look into wind shear with this system here. Really higher the numbers, the better chance the storm here will really tear apart here. You want high amounts of wind shear. Really, and you can definitely see here, there's a lot of wind shear. Here's your Bermuda High right there. You can tell right there. You can see it just really just hits the wind shear here. You actually got your trough going on right here. You actually see where that trough is. Right in there. And there's going to be a low nearby. So, and this is where the system could go to if this verifies here. Is that trough. And it seems like that trough kind of backs off a little bit. And you can see here where the winds are kind of going to take it. And plus the Bermuda High there. So, and systems like these here will go around high pressure systems. You can see there it kind of makes landfall and, kind of goes back out to sea. But again, more than likely will change. We got to see what's going to happen here whenever it runs into this wind shear right here, especially when it's very high amounts. So if this verifies here, I don't think the system here will make it through it, to be honest with you. Um, but we're going to see about this here. So let's move on to the European model, see what it has to say about the system. So here's your broad low, pretty much at this point here, pretty much a tropical depression. I mean, 28 mile per hour winds, about 30. That's a tropical depression. So that's tropical depression, whatever number will be, could be 9 or something. I don't really know how that part works with it, but you can see here, it may become a tropical depression by late Sunday night into Monday morning. You can see here, it does take us time to slowly develop. Now, the European model on Gonzalo has not done a really good job, so, I mean, if you compare it to the GFS, you can see it's a little bit more stronger, which I think the GFS at this point here with this system here is a little bit more accurate than the European model at this point. You can see where it takes it here, and then it starts to intensify. You can see it starts to get over to these islands here. At this point, this is a tropical storm. I mean, 47, pretty much rounding up to 50 mile per hour winds at this time here. And you have to look into sustained winds, not wind gusts. I mean, if you turn wind gusts, I mean, that's hurricane strength pretty much right there. But you want to look into sustained winds. You can actually see where it actually takes it here. It actually hits to Dominican Republic and Haiti, however you say it. Um, if that occurs, and the Dominican Republic can have some pretty good mount range, so if this verifies here, it'll just tear the storm apart. But it seems like it's one to come back again. You can see where it takes us here. It goes through the Bahamas, and it may be a little bit realistic due to wind shear here, but I highly doubt it will survive though after Dominican Republic. You can see where the GFS kind of takes us this here. You know, those purple colors are basically hurricane force winds, really. It's going to be hard to pick that up. But you can see here where it takes it. It takes it a little bit further north. If it goes north of the islands, that's a little bit concerning here because they have a little bit better chance of surviving if it goes north of the islands. If it goes through the islands like Dominican Republic, that's better news. At least for the United States. I mean, it's still not good news for these islands right here, especially for Puerto Rico. It's not good news for them, but for the United States, at least for the southeastern portions of the United States, there's good news with it. Now, let's actually take this to a different graphic here. Upper dynamics here. 500 millibar hot anomalies. So you can see your trough right here by the GFS here. And the models here have a pretty good agreement that there will be a trough in this region in here, like the Tennessee Valley, the Lower Ohio Valley, the Mississippi Valley. And it seems like the trough actually kind of backs off a little bit. You can see then it kind of comes back out to sea, which I highly doubt it. And the trough kind of comes back from there. I don't think we'll be able to see. Let's see what the Euro shows on here. Go 500 millibars here. Yeah, pretty much at this point here, you got a trough right in this region in here. You gotta, let's go to the surface here. Yeah, your front is right here, so you got a trough right in this region here. You got an area of high pressure, what it seems here, by St. Louis. And this is 5 o'clock in the morning, so it's cool temperatures, um, but yeah, that's where it could go. So I mean, with the trough being here, that could be a big player later down the road. But first, we gotta see what's gonna happen in this region here. That's where the uncertainties really come in. We know where it's gonna go. It's more likely to be going to in this region here. The question is, will it go north of the islands or through the islands? We're gonna see about that, but I'll give you guys another uh, update on if anything big happens, like if it becomes like a tropical depression or tropical storm, see if models have any big changes on it as well. And really, I think that's it here. You can see here's the CMC models here. I mean, it's extremely spread out here. You can see it goes through the islands, even for Cuba, and a couple of them go out to sea. So many uncertainties here. So I will not be. Just don't get worried on the system here yet, because we don't really know where it's gonna go. We don't know if it's going to go for the islands or north of the islands. So, but anyways, guys, this is all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this tropical update. If you guys had liked this video, hit that like button. If you really do like my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, you can put in the comment section down below. I will answer your guys' questions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.